Welcome to the Sacred Knock Podcast, where the divine speaks and the heart listens. There's a knock, a sacred one. You may not hear it with your ears, but your soul knows it well. I'm your host, Coach Michael Taylor, and I'm inviting you into a sacred space of spiritual awakening, divine insight, and conversations that remind you of who you really are. So, open the door and let your soul receive the wisdom it's been waiting for. Welcome to the Sacred Knock Podcast. Welcome to the Sacred Knock Podcast, where divine wisdom speaks and the heart listens. I'm your host, Coach Michael Taylor, and today we're diving into a question that is as old as humanity itself. How do you see God? Now, take a breath with me, because this isn't a small question. It's a sacred one. And your answer, whether clear or uncertain, shapes the way you live your life. It affects how you see yourself and how you see others, and how you interpret the events of your world. In Western culture, especially in the United States, we've been taught to see God a certain way, usually as a man, usually sitting on a throne, usually watching and judging everything we do. And unfortunately, for far too long, that God has been wrapped in fear. A fear-based God, a God who punishes, a God who needs to be appeased, a God who sends people to hell for getting it wrong. This idea, this version of God, has been used by organized religion as a tool of control for centuries. It has divided humanity, instilled guilt and shame, and made many people feel unworthy of love. And it's time to question that. Did you know there are over 40,000 different Christian denominations in the world? 40,000 different Christian denominations in the world today. And globally, there are more than 4,000 organized religions. So let that sink in for a second. 40,000 versions of the one true way, and 4,000 different blueprints for understanding the divine. So what does that tell us? It tells us that no one has a monopoly on God. It tells us that spiritual truth isn't confined to one book, one building, or one belief system. It tells us that maybe, just maybe, God is bigger than any religion could ever contain. So today, I'm inviting you to pause and ask yourself, how do you see God? When you strip away what you were taught, when you remove the fear and dogma, what's left? Is God a person, a force, a presence, a mystery? And more importantly, how does your vision of God make you feel? As for me, I no longer see God as a man in the sky, keeping score and handing out punishments. I no longer live in fear of eternal judgment or cosmic disapproval. Instead, I see God as the divine intelligence that created this incredible universe and is still creating right now. I see God as an infinite, boundless energy, a presence that flows through everything and everyone. A creative force that animates all of life. And that force, that intelligence, is love. Not love as a feeling, but love as the very fabric of existence. God is not separate from us. God is not outside of us. God is within us, around us, as us. We are expressions of that divine intelligence. We are extensions of that love. Now, you may see God differently, and that's okay. Because this podcast isn't about telling you what to believe. It's about helping you explore what you believe, what feels true, what rings true, what awakens your heart. So, in future episodes, I'll share perspectives from spiritual teachers and sacred text. I'll offer divine downloads, reflect on the wisdom in books, and share conversations that stretch and inspire. all with one goal: to help you deepen your connection to the divine, whatever that means to you. So, before we go, let me leave you with this reflection. If you could create a vision of God that felt loving, empowering, and true, what would that look like for you? Not what you were taught, but what your soul remembers. Because maybe, just maybe, that knock you hear deep inside your spirit, that's the divine inviting you to see differently, to see more clearly, to see with love. So, thank you for joining me on this episode of the Sacred Podcast, the Sacred Knock Podcast. And if this message stirred something in your soul, I invite you to subscribe and leave a comment and share this with someone who's asking the same question. And remember, the voice of God isn't found in fear. It's found in love, and that love lives in you. Until next time, stay open, stay inspired, and stay sacred. We'll see you next episode. Take care. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Sacred Knock Podcast. We hope this episode has inspired you to listen more closely to the whispers of your soul. If this message moved you, why not share it with someone you love? Because you never know who's waiting to hear their own sacred knock. And if you'd like to dive deeper and download the free ebook, When God Knocks, 5 Divine Reminders to Reignite Your Soul, simply log on to www.knockknockbook.net to download your free gift today. Until next time, stay open, stay tuned in, and always remember, the divine is already within you.